Shailesh Gandhi has been waiting quite patiently. Shailesh Gandhi, former CIC. The point still remains that irrespective of whether Mr. Arvind Kejriwal personally has a say or wants this security cavalcade or not, I'm assuming that if there's someone who understands the importance of the politics of perception, of the importance of perception in politics, it's Arvind Kejriwal. The man came onto power on very simple origins with his blue Wagoner, got everyone's imagination, got everyone's sympathy, got a lot of votes also. Yet in the run-up to the elections, one of the issues which dogged him was Sheeshmail. Now you can argue, I'm not getting into the merits whether Sheeshmail existed and what was there or not, but going by the results, it's evident that Sheeshmail had a say in turning the people's perception against him. Wouldn't it have made a bit more sense for Mr. Kejriwal and his party to not have this display of security, if nothing else, just to send the message that Mr. Kejriwal is going back to his roots, which is what Vipassana is all about, reconnecting with your roots?
It's very sad to see this state of affairs. Arvind has been an associate with whom I have worked in the RTI movement, and he was an idealist. From there, when he turned to politics, he seems to have decided to be like all the other politicians. The charge is right. Such excessive security concerns are just not on. 23 or 24 vehicles going around for a former chief minister. I think which other former chief minister goes around with 23, 24 cars? I'm almost certain Mr. Kejriwal himself in Delhi, when he was chief minister, may not have gone around with 24 cars. Bhagwant Singh Maan may not be going around with 24 cars. This is obsession with importance, self-importance. And it's very, very sad. The Indian public was fooled into believing that Arvind Kejriwal would show an idealistic political scenario. It was fooled when the Janata Party came to power in 1977. And again, this time, Arvind gave that hope that he'll have politics with ethics, honesty, and accountability, and no big expenditure and no big show. When people talk of taxpayers' money, I feel offended. It's not just the taxpayers' money, it is implied income tax. The poorest person in India pays GST. And excessive expenditure, to me, the picture is of snatching a morsel from the hands of a poor little girl who's starving to death. That is India. And it's unfortunate that Arvind Kejriwal does not understand this, or is choosing not to understand it and believes that people will get fooled. People are not going to get fooled. In Delhi, you are right. I think that Sheeshmail's story was a big perception loss for the Aam Aadmi Party. And that could be perhaps one of the single major causes for their loss. I wish Arvind Kejriwal went back to idealism. And he used to say earlier, as an activist, that maybe wo kursi mein koi problem hai. He seems out to be proving that the kursi mein problem hai. The moment you get a chair, all your values disappear. All values seem to undergo. And this applies not just to Aam Aadmi Party. This applies to BJP, Congress, socialist parties, all these parties. Simple things are not understood. Governance and people's welfare suffers as they make big shows about their own importance. I wish this could change. And this is an appeal not just to Arvind Kejriwal, but to the Congress and the BJP whose spokespersons are here, to come back to a normal life. I still recall there was a time when all government officers used to get ambassadors. Today, nothing less than 50 lakh cars are acceptable. This mindset has to change. Public service must get importance.
Yes,
Public
and that's a very
must be
important point. That is a very important point made by Shailesh Gandhi, that let's be under no assumption that it's just the Aam Aadmi Party which is guilty of using this largesse. The point being made is that the Aam Aadmi Party pretended to, or at least claimed, that they were a party which was not involved in all these trappings of power. Dr. Nimi Rastogi, you wanted to come in, and I think I'll have to leave you with the last word. Would the decent thing be not, at this point, given the fact that Punjab is facing a financial burden, would the decent thing not be for the Aam Aadmi Party or for Mr. Kejriwal to come out and state that, I'm paying for the security cavalcade out of my pocket, or at least from the Aam Aadmi Party's coffers here? instead of using people's money, because this is a vicious cycle. Either Mr. Kejriwal is under security threat, then the question is asked to the Bhagwant Mann government, or if it's safe, then he doesn't need this cavalcade.
I'll answer that. First of all, let me tell Mr. Gandhi that Delhi was the only state with budget surplus and with very healthy fiscal scenario. So it's not that he spent all the money on himself. He used it for the benefit and the larger good of common man of the state. Second thing, I think it was just passively following the protocol with. As an act of omission, he could have said no had he known. It is not an act of commission saying that, no, I want 100 cars behind me. If I know Arvind Kejriwal correctly, if I know my government party correctly, I know this is just an act of omission, maybe an oversight. They didn't know.
So, Dr. Rastagi, who had the power to say no? If Mr. Arvind Kejriwal didn't have the power to say no, if Mr. Bhagwant Mann didn't have the power to say no, who was forcing this cavalcade on him? The central government.
Punjab usually have this boastful culture with all apologies. So I think it was a show of strength, or I should say, since many people are going, his wife is going, many of our MLAs, ex-MLAs, ministers are going. So I think that increased number of this thing. But yes, principally, I agree that we should all act with sensibility and not waste people's taxpayers' money. It is the responsibility.
Okay, Jasmine ji wants to come in. Jasmine ji, I have 30 seconds because you are also continuing with me in the next debate, and I really don't want to cut into that. It's a